queso, and welcome everybody. Queso is hello in Basque, and where we find ourselves today is we are in Guernica, Spain. We're up here kind of in the cultural heart of the Basque Country, and this is a fantastic little town. There's a couple reasons why I'm here today. One of them, Manu, this is your home, enjoy the video. And the other reason is I lived in a town in the States. There was a place called Winnemucca, Nevada, and we had a lot of Basque people that fled during the Spanish Civil War and lived there. And in case you don't know, Manu, one of my good friends that's from here, he gets to see his hometown a little bit, and hopefully he'll enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed this town. This place is just absolutely amazing. It's kind of unknown as far as for Western tourists, but it is the cultural heart of the Basque Country. And we're going to walk around here, we're going to look, and I'll tell you a little bit about the tragic side of this place. So let's enjoy the video today. And this is what you see. It's a chilly morning. It's like 7 degrees here right now. And this is kind of the downtown part of Guernica. And it is really cool. They have all these little like statues around of famous Basque people. They also have, like in the evening, they'll set up and they'll have you know, restaurants and stuff like that outside. So all the locals will meet together, all the friends and family will get together and have a really good time. And it's 9 degrees now, so it's warming up a lot. I think this is one of the composers, like in the 1800s. He wrote a song about the old Gernika tree. And we'll walk up there. That'll be the last thing we look at in the village. But all of this here, what the tragic side of it is all of this was destroyed. In April of 1937, the Condor Legion, the Luftwaffe, descended on this area, and they basically carpet bombed this whole downtown area. And 85% of all of the buildings you see now were destroyed. And it was precision. It was learning the tactics of that. And it destroyed all of the buildings. And they say, like, if you go over to the train station, just on the other side of it, nothing was even destroyed. The leaves were still on the trees, everything else. Yeah, in the evening, all of this here, people set up and they sit out here on the chairs and they're just starting to get ready for their day. I came down here last night and had a wonderful time talking to all the locals, and there were kids running all around. There's a school and stuff right up over here, and there were kids everywhere just having a great time. And you can see they're getting the chairs and everything ready, cleaning up the streets. And you sit out here, you have some of the Basque food and drink some of the local libations, a lot of wine, a lot of beer, stuff like that. So I was talking to some of the locals about this, and there were a few homes that were spared. The church was spared, but almost everything else was destroyed. And what they did is, the day that the Luftwaffe bombed it, the tragedy of it is it was a special day where they had a huge market going on here in Guernica. And so all the locals were here. So it was like a really human tragedy that they, I mean, war never is good, but they did just an extra concentration on this little town here. And it was with all the locals that were just here doing their business. Okay, let's walk up over here. We'll look at the church, we'll look at the assembly hall, and we'll look at the old tree and the new tree. Yeah, and there's just so much charm to these old buildings here. Houses, everything here. And then I think this might be like the school. It says the Escuelas Publicas, which I don't know if that's like a public school. They got a nice little park here with all these flowers. And there's quite a few little shrines and like little data plates and stuff like that about the bombing of Guernica. They show kind of the outline of where the bombing happened, and there's little stuff talking about the recovery and everything else. I really like these buildings. They're quite cool. Yeah, this is fantastic. So it says up there 1927. So this must have been built just before the Spanish Civil War. And it's really a cool little area. And then up in there, there's more. The church, we'll make our way over to that church there. Really a Cool little courtyard here, and you can see a statue up there on the hill. Now I think Guernica has its roots in 1366 is what I was reading, and it was like a Count Lico that established the town. I may be wrong in my history, but I think that's what I was reading about. So it's quite an old town, but there were probably settlements here already. I mean, you can't go too many places in Europe without having, you know, a settlement built on top of a settlement. This is another one of the little squares they have here. You can see the clock tower with the bells and stuff. And I think this might be like converted into a museum. And we're right over here by this really, really old church. We'll talk a little bit more about it here in a sec. But you can see all the arches. Now what's nice is they have this little display over here that shows some of the aftermath of the bombing. We'll take a look at that. Hopefully you'll be able to see these. This is quite amazing here. So it was in the 26th, or on the 26th of April in 1937. And you can see the aftermath of the bombing. All of the buildings are destroyed. You see the people. Just a tragic event. And like I said, 85% of all of the buildings here were destroyed during the bombing. Just complete saturation of the downtown area. See all the rubble and everything. Now there was a few houses not too far up here on the hill that were completely untouched, and then the church was saved also. The stained glass inside of the church was shattered, but other than that, the building itself was intact. You can just see the complete devastation here. And I don't know how many people ultimately were killed in Guernica, but the death toll was pretty high. I mean, as you can see of how the downtown looks, and this is what all the buildings were. And like I said, right over by the railway station, right across the way over here, the leaves were still on the trees. So they just flew right in over. There was no air defense or anything like that. They just, you know, just bombed them. And you could see cars flipped over. Really, really tragic what they did here. So you can see right there, that is the church. And the church is this right here. So you can see how it looks, or it looked after the bombing, and what it still looks like today. But the nice thing is the resilience of the Basque people. They came in here, they rebuilt everything, and this is still their home, and it's still a place to come here and enjoy. It is just fantastic. Okay, so let's go up there and let's look at the church now. You can see how they built this here onto the hill. Use the brick. Pretty cool door. And then some more modern buildings right here. And they have these little walkways. And then the church is up here. Now the church itself, I think, was built on the foundation of another church. And they started it, I think, in like the 1400s, and it was completed in the 1700s. There was a delay, and they originally wanted it to be like a Gothic cathedral, but they had, when they stopped building it, they changed the plans, and then they built the walls higher, and it is kind of what you see today. And it's right here in the center of Gernika. Now I was told it would be open, but it's locked still. They were supposed to be doing mass or something like that at 6:30 this morning, but it's been locked up the whole time. You can see all around the door, all the little figures. Yeah, really, really nice. I would like to see inside of it, but I don't think we're going to be able to today. Yeah, you can see just a towering building. And then they have the other part of the church here probably for the priest and everything. Okay, let's walk up here now and we'll look at the Gernika tree. That'll be the last thing we look at here in downtown Guernica. This is the back side of the church here. Really quite cool. And there's mountains all around. The Basque Country is absolutely beautiful. Now this is really a fantastic building also right here. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. So you can see the building that's next to it. Now this is what they call the Alegría Palace. And it was built in like 1733. There used to be a medieval house that was here that burned down, and then they built this on top of it. And it was abandoned and everything else, and then they made it into a museum in 1991. And this has the Gernika tree. Now the Biscay Provincial Council, they meet underneath the tree, or they used to, and that's kind of the symbol of it. And what we'll do is we'll walk around the back side now. So the museum and everything is €3.50 to go in, but it's closed right now. But we're going to take a look at the old tree and then the new tree. Yeah, you can see this is such a nice area. Have these stone walls. Now the houses back in here were saved. They weren't destroyed during the bombing. Everything kind of over here past the church was okay. It was all down in the downtown area. Yeah, they have the ferns growing. Really cool. You can see more of the museum over here. Yeah, it's really cool. And then right behind it is the old tree. You got the flags of the area, the Spanish flag, the EU flag, and then the coat of arms for the area here on that rock. And then more of the park over here. This is just an absolutely fantastic area. Now the old tree symbolizes like liberty of the Basque people, because back in the old days the leaders of the region would meet underneath the tree, and they wanted liberty for their people from the French and everybody else. You can see it's just an absolutely beautiful park over here. Lots of old trees and shade and grass. Now here is the symbol of the Basque Country. This is the old tree. Now it died of a fungus, but they took a piece of it and they planted it into the father tree that died, and then they have the son now that is growing right over next to it. Okay, so the old tree was over there, and then this is the son, or the new tree. So it'll grow. So they would meet underneath the shade of the tree and discuss important matters. And they still have that tradition today, which is really cool. You can see some more of these great old buildings here, just all around. Really a beautiful place. That's going to finish up our video over here in Guernica. We got to see the downtown area, got to look at it. I told you a little bit about, the bombing and everything in the Spanish Civil War. This is a great little town. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. This is absolutely fantastic here. I need about a month to kind of see everything that's in the Basque Country, all the mountains, all the little villages, and just talk to the people and have a good time. I would recommend it. If you're wanting to go to a place that's more traditional, this is definitely a place you would want to go to. If you enjoyed the video, definitely smash the like button. If you know more about Guernica, or if you've been here, I'd like to know your thoughts and feelings on it. Leave me a comment down below. And remember, as always, life is a journey. So until next time, agur or goodbye. We'll see you later.